Welcome to the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast. We don't shy away and keep secrets here. We empower you with education, telling you the truth about all things aesthetic medicine while encouraging you to be the best version of yourself. It's time to look great and feel good doing it. This is your host, mom, speaker, and board-certified physician, Dr. Judith Borger.
Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 94 of the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast. This is Dr. Borger, and I am so excited to talk to you today about succeeding at new routines. So you might be like, well, why are you talking about this now? And I think this time of the year, with everybody going back to school, is a great time to establish new routines for the school year. Sort of like January 1st is a sort of arbitrary point other than on the calendar where we've decided we're going to start new habits and new routines. However, now that your kids are going back to school, you're shifting from your summer schedule and your summer routines to fall routines and school year routines. So if there's something that you've been wanting to do, to change, to accomplish, I think this is a great time to build it in as we establish the new routines of the school year. Of course, I just came back from Spain a little while ago. And so I'm going from being in Spain to coming back here for a couple weeks to now also starting the school year. And my youngest is in kindergarten, so all of my younger kids are going to be in school. And so we are definitely starting new routines. I know a lot of you have probably read or heard about Atomic Habits. That is a great book by Habits and Routines. But what is really sort of habits and routines? So both habits and routines are repeated behaviors, but habits are more automatic and unconscious, while routines require more conscious efforts. Both of them develop through repetitions and becoming ingrained, but things like reaching for your phone upon awakening are habits, right? Versus routines are more like a series of action with a degree of conscious thought and intention. So like, for example, a morning routine would be an example of a routine like waking up, exercising, eating breakfast, or a nighttime routine. For example, when you say, okay, I'm going to put my phone down, I'm going to maybe read my book or my Bible or whatever you like to read before bed, and then I'm going to go to bed or read with my children, right? So Atomic Habits, it's a great book, and I still want to talk to you about establishing routines. One of the routines that I want to establish for this year or going forward or forever is really to meal prep or take food with me to be conscious about my meal choices. Now, in the past, at least in the past couple of years, I've been really not doing any meal prepping. And that then leaves me to either skip lunch or have like a late lunch at 4 p.m. or pick up stuff. Both kind of spending money that I don't necessarily like need or want to spend. And then also like you can only get so many things at so many places if you suddenly need it right now. So my goal is really to be better at bringing food and eating food from home so that I can have more consistency in my diet and also reduce unnecessary spending. Because even though I love food, I love eating out, it's not the like lunch sandwich from Panera that we all adore. Now, I like Panera, but like I'm more thinking like I love all the nice food. So when we spent money on food, I want it to be the nice food. And then I would prefer to take something more healthy and nourishing and also like planned from home. So that is the routine that I want to establish. And when people think about routines, I mean, what I hear my clients and people say is, that they do want to spend some more mindful time, that some people want to establish a morning routine where they first meditate or pray or whatever, exercise, whatever is your desired morning routine, and the same a nighttime routine where they do things that prepares them for restful sleep versus like doom scrolling for hours, or people that want to get into a routine of establishing regular exercise. So let's talk about how to sort of succeed at routines. And I think building better routines is one of the most powerful way to create consistency, reduce stress, and moving towards the life that you actually want. Because that's kind of how I think about all the routines that I have. They're set up for my future me, right? Like I am not taking care of me right now. I mean, even though I'm taking care of me right now, but it's really about also me in the future, right? Whether that's me at noon that suddenly has healthy food to eat, or me in 3 months that doesn't have to worry about a couple of pounds of like weight gain from eating more processed foods. And it's the same with exercising or following a skincare routine or using your SPF. It's a lot of routines are investments in the life that you want and in the future you, right? So we're going to go through a little bit of discomfort now because we like the end results. Meaning you're in your bed and your alarm goes off at 5 a.m. Initially, it might not feel that great to get up and get on your Peloton or go for a walk. However, first of all, it's the life that you want to create, right? To already exercise. And then also, after it's been 30 days, your body will suddenly jump out of bed and be excited. You'll have more energy level. You'll have greater cardiovascular fitness. You might have gained some strength or lost some weight if that was your goal. So the idea really is that routines and habits are investments into the future you, and the future you will thank you. It's kind of like putting money in the bank and then interest starts happening in your high yield savings accounts. So I did a little bit of research on what is research-backed strategies to start better routines and to succeed at routines, right? And so one of the biggest ones is to start small or to shrink the habit, right? So a lot of times when we make goals, we go like extreme, right? You're like, well, if you're somebody who's never run, you're going to be like, I'm going to run like 5 miles every morning. Well, that is maybe like just not feasible, or it's such a big step that your body is like, oh my God, or you'll be sore, or your subconscious will be super frightened. So the biggest thing is to start small and shrink the habit until it feels doable and it feels safe in your body. So, like I said, if I will run 5 miles every morning, and again, I'm just saying that because I'm not a runner and that would sound horrible to me and I would absolutely not want to do that. Sounds too big. Start with, I will put on my sneakers and I will just go for a 15-minute walk or a 15-minute run walk, or Peloton has these great like little classes. So, and you basically shrink that habit until what it is that you want to do does not create resistance in your body, right? So with my meal prepping or bringing food to work situation, like I asked my friends for recipes, and some of the stuff that they sent me, I was like, there is just no way we're going to go from not cooking anything to lunch to making this, right? So maybe we will start with like some salads and sandwiches from home, okay? Because that is doable, while right now making some fancy meal that I can then divvy up and making like 18 containers of foods with vegetables and fruits and all of the stuff is just like too overwhelming. So the first step is that I'm going to like make some overnight oats and some salads and some sandwiches and some yogurts and some fruit to bring, okay? Because that to me feels doable. And that is sort of the first thing that I want to talk about, is what turtle step feels doable is completely up to you. For some of you, this idea of getting up every morning and running 3 miles is nothing. For me, that would give me anxiety. So I would have to start with a 15-minute walk run. So number one, start small. And I'm a Martha Beck certified coach. Martha Beck talks about turtle steps. So you do steps that are so turtly a turtle that you feel like you can do them. And again, you are starting then to be successful, right? So again, running 5 miles every day, I would fail at. While doing 15 minutes, I will succeed at. And success and that mindset of success is what we want, right? In the forward direction. So success comes from stacking small wins that build momentum, because that's the thing, you want to win. Like I have already won because last week I brought lunch every single day to my office. I call that a win, and I'm planning on doing it again this week. Now, sometimes that was cheese and ham and a yogurt, but hey, again, small wins. Now, the second thing is to anchor new habits to existing habits, or what is called habit stacking. And the idea is that you want to attach the new routine to something you already do if you can. So it's almost like a trigger for the new habit or the new routine. So after I brush my teeth, I'll meditate for 2 minutes. After I make coffee, I will write down 3 priorities for the day. As I lay down to go to bed, I will fill out my gratitude journal, right? So it doesn't always work that you can anchor things, but if at all you can anchor things, then, something that you already do, if you can kind of stack something on top of it, you're likely to be successful. So I have one of my clients really wanted to drink more water. And so she basically was like, okay, every time I do anything with my dog, like let out the dog, let in the dog, feed the dog, walk the dog, I want to make sure to drink water. So in the morning, she put her water cup on the counter, and when she let out the dog while she was waiting for the dog, she was already starting to drink water. And that actually brings me to the next way to be successful at a habit, which is to use environmental design. So you want to set up your space in a way that the routine is easy to follow. For example, if your goal is to start working out first thing in the morning, put your workout clothes next to your bed, or put your workout clothes and your sneakers laid out already in the bathroom. When I first started working out in the morning, sometimes I would just work out in my jammies because it's like my own gym. Like, who cares, right? Sometimes I would even sleep in my workout clothes. I mean, they were clean and I would put them on before bed, but it's like sometimes if there's this thing where you're like, oh, and then it's cold, I'm going to have to undress and I have to rummage and try to find my things. Like if your workout clothes are right there, you can slip right into them. Or keep your gratitude journal on your pillow so you see it at night. And then also hide distractions. So for example, if your goal is not to doom scroll, there is no reason that your phone has to be on your nightstand. You could legit put your phone across the room from you, or even put it in another room and use a different alarm, because we used to do that. So use environmental design to make things easier. The same, I now put my lunchbox on the counter the night before, or actually pack it the night before and then put it in the fridge, depending on what I'm putting in for that day. But again, I then just have to grab it, and I'm using the cues from the environment, and then I just throw some fresh fruit in, or whatever that case might be. And then the next one is, I think, one of the key things is to decide ahead of time, right? Routines aren't going to magically create themselves, because if it was something that you naturally wanted doing, or you naturally were already doing, it wouldn't be something that you would have to establish, right? If you're a person that's already good at meal prepping, you don't need to make a routine at meal prepping. If you're a person that already jumps out at 5 a.m. and exercises, you don't need a new routine. So the idea is that Deciding ahead of time helps you be successful. It's indecision a lot of times that is unclarity, that's muddledness, that confuses us. And sometimes our subconscious, like indecision is a way to be like resistant too. So for example, if I'm deciding ahead of time that I'm going to bring lunch every day to work, I have stuff already like decided on what I'm going to do tomorrow, right? So there is stuff that I bought at the grocery store that is specific for lunches that I'm going to bring. So this is my decision. I'm not just like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to bring for lunch, because then I don't bring anything. Or the same with like you're going to do a home workout. And I did Peloton a lot. I still love Peloton. But instead of just saying I'm going to Peloton at 5 a.m., like download the class and bookmark it, right? So your body isn't like, oh, what is it that I'm going to do? Say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do a 20-minute ride and then I'm going to do 10-minute arms. And I've already like bookmarked this ride and bookmarked the arms so that like it's decided, it's one less thing where my brain will then offer the excuses of, oh, we don't even know what to do. If you remove the need to decide in that moment, you'll reduce friction and resistance. And I think deciding ahead of time is like one of these most important things. Like I am really deciding that this is going to be my routine, and then I'm actually going to do it. So it's that pre-commit, right? The setting your clothes out, to prep your meals, to put workouts in your calendar, to put your charger across the room or in the other room so that you don't have phone distractions during mealtime or at night. And as that goes, I also want you to anticipate that it's not going to feel great, right? So, and I think that's where a lot of people then give up or fail, that like, as I said, if it was already your routine, you wouldn't need to create a routine about it. If most of us, the things that we want to do, we might have tried and failed, or we might have not quite figured out our magic formula for it, right? I think sometimes it's also because we're way too ambitious instead of doing small steps, but there's going to be moments where you're not going to feel like it. Like there's going to be moments where I'm going to feel so lazy and not want to grab my lunch and not do it in the morning. But I know that's going to happen. So if I've decided ahead of time that I'm making this commitment to me, like that's what I'm going to do. And it's the same with working out. There's going to come moments where you're not going to feel like working out. But then again, decide what your minimum baseline is and do that. So for example, when I was trying to get back into working out after my third child and I had struggled with some postpartum anxiety and depression, like I would just literally make a goal to do a 10-minute workout, because I know I could get myself to talk myself into a 10-minute workout. And you know what? If after the 10 minutes, I felt really good and my endorphins were pumping and I wanted to do another 10-minute workout, a 20-minute workout, I did that. But if I didn't, I would still get that blue Peloton check mark for the day and celebrated a win. And then at the end of the year, do you know how many minutes you can actually do with 10-minute workouts? Meaning like you can literally do like 12,000 minutes in 10-minute workouts, which is sort of crazy because most of us have this all or nothing thing. So as you decide ahead of time, also recognize that there is discomfort in the present because you're doing this for future you, and present you might really feel lazy or feel like wanting to scroll on your phone or feel like not chopping some veggies for my lunch. But again, you decide ahead of time, and with compassion and kindness, you see the resistance just for what it is. It's just resistance to a new routine. And then you remind yourself for the future you or the greater good that you actually want to do this routine. The next evidence-based trick to succeed at a new routine is to pair it with pleasure. So make your routine rewarding, especially as you start. So again, because we know there's going to be a little bit of discomfort, so you want to pair it with pleasure as much as possible. For example, you have a favorite podcast or you have a book on tape that you really love to listen to. Like, where are all my ACOTAR fans? You could like literally listen to ACOTAR for a year of walking. But then, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to listen to that while I do my power walk at 5 in the morning. When you journal, like, make it a beautiful, relaxing space where you light a candle or use some aromatherapy and you're in comfy jammies or have a special soft blanket. The same thing if you want to have like a morning tea ritual, like you use a special mug and like, so as much as possible, like paired with pleasure. Like I love podcasts and audiobooks. So it's one of the ways that I fold my laundry is to like put something on that I really want to listen to, and then I listen to that while I fold my mountains and mountains of laundry that I'm sure all of you with children know about. The next way to make your routine more successful is to track and celebrate progress. So use a visual tracker, calendar, or app. It's also, I think, the brilliant thing about the Peloton app that you get like blue check marks. You guys all know that I'm so into intentional time management, that I love my calendar. So that's where it's perfect to kind of code the day, check it off, things like that. And then you want to celebrate streaks, not perfection. Because if you miss once, it doesn't matter, but missing twice creates a habit of skipping out on your new routine. So for example, I love doing Pilates 4 times a week. And so it's a streak that's a very doable streak for me to do 4 workouts a week. And then the next one is to focus on identity, not just outcome, right? This is one where you become a person who has that habit. So for example, working out is not one of the habits I need to work on, but I'm very clear that I'm a person who loves to exercise. I'm a person who exercises regularly. I'm a person who has kind of exercised consistently for years. That is my identity. So if you're somebody who's like, oh, I need to start exercising, instead of saying, I need to exercise, or I need to exercise to lose weight, or I need to exercise to decrease my A1C, or whatever your goal is to say, I'm the type of person who moves every day. I'm the type of person that exercises, because then it just becomes you. It's you whether you are at the end of your goal or not, right? Whether you run those 5 miles every day or if you do the 15-minute walk. I'm the kind of person that exercises in the morning. That is so powerful. So it's one of those really most powerful coaching tips ever, is to shift to identity-based routines, because it really makes them much, much more successful, because they align with who you are and not just what you do. So for example, I'm the type of person that eats healthily. That for me means now bringing stuff from home to have healthy and consistent lunches. So yes, I am the type of person that eats healthily, versus I'm the kind of person that needs to now bring a lunch for work. And then build in flexibility. I talked about that earlier, is that have a minimum version of your habit for busy days, or your routine for busy days. All or nothing thinking is so detrimental, because it's black or white, success or failure. And a lot of times it really sets up unrealistic expectations. Like, for example, the running 5 miles every week, or the like making a nutritious home-cooked, hot, heated up lunch. Like, what's my minimum version? You know what? My minimum version might be a protein bar and a yogurt, or it might be a sandwich, or it might be a 10-minute Peloton glutes or abs video, or it might be 10 push-ups, 1 sentence in a journal, 1 paragraph of reading, 1 Bible verse, whatever it is that your minimum version is. Give yourself grace with the minimum, because then you can still be successful and move in the right direction. It's the same with like if you want to save money, right? And your goal is to save, I don't know, $200 off each paycheck. Sometimes there is unexpected bills or expenses or vacations or holidays or all of that stuff. So what's the minimum version? Is it $40? And then you're still moving into the direction. Because really, it keeps your chain alive, it keeps your streak alive, it keeps you being successful. And like in my Peloton example above, it's amazing that some days, if all you can do is a 10-minute workout, it's still a 10-minute workout you did, versus if those days I would have made myself do like a 30-minute workout or 60-minute workout, like either emotionally or mentally or time-wise or exhaustion-wise with multiple small children, I wouldn't have done it. But you know what? 10 minutes is still 10 extra minutes that I did. And it's still blood flow I got for that day. It's exercise I got for that day. So have a minimum version of the habit or the routine for busy days. And then we have talked about this in the past. I did a podcast with my friend who has a group called the Power Hour, and it's all about accountability or community. When you share your routine goal with a friend, a coach, or a group, you are more likely to do it. And then also, those people are more likely to model the behavior that you want, and they're more likely to align with your routine and support you in your routine. And then also that routine gets normalized, right? For example, if you want to, let's say, like read more books, and everybody only scrolls on their phone and doesn't read books, then you might sort of be like, well, it is kind of odd for me to read books. But then if you join a book group or a book club, like there might be this community that you're looking for in terms of everybody reads books. You can then talk about the book. Like it's normalized for you to read a book. It's the same with running clubs, meditation apps or communities, joining meditation circles, or things like what Nilda Maria has created, which is the Power Hour prescription, where not only she helps people sort of by giving them workout plans, but also like people post their successes and you see, oh, this person did it and this person did it. And when you post, you get people congratulating you and uplifting you and all the things. So that is really some of the things about routines and how to make them successful. I earlier mentioned Atomic Habits by James Clear. I'm obviously not James Clear, but I was just going to give you some of the core takeaways boiled down from Atomic Habits. A lot of them are the ones that I've already discussed because it's evidence-based, but just as a little bonus, I'm going to give you like some of the sort of the top 10 of core takeaways boiled down from Atomic Habits, which again, if you want to initiate anything, it's a fantastic book. It's great to read and it's just jam-packed. So the key takeaways from Atomic Habits are really small habits create big change. And I completely believe that success doesn't come from giant leaps, but from tiny, consistent actions. A 1% improvement every day compounds massively over time. I always say that to people. It's consistency over time. I think that's also why the streaks work, why the small successes work, why putting it into your identity works, right? Because I'm a person that exercises means I'm exercising for years, for decades, right? So first takeaway from Atomic Habits is small habits create big change. Again, I want to repeat this sentence because it's so important. Success doesn't come from giant leaps, but from tiny, consistent actions that compound massively over time. He also talks about number 2, identity-based habits are stronger. So don't focus on outcomes, focus on identity. And he says that, and that's James Clear, who's really the expert on habits, is that true behavior change is about becoming the type of person who naturally does the thing, the type of person that exercises, the type of person that meal preps or eats healthy food, the type of person that reads to their children, the type of person that exercises, the type of person that immerses themselves in scripture, whatever type of person you want to do. But behavior change is about becoming the type of person who naturally does the thing. He does have a framework, James Clear, for building or breaking habits, sort of the 4 laws of behavior change. So number 1 is make it obvious. It's what we talked about earlier. Design your environment so cues for good habits are visible. For example, the healthy food and snacks, the, workout things, all of that stuff. Number 2, make it attractive. Pair habits with things you enjoy. Number 3, make it easy, meaning reduce friction, shrink habits to the smallest possible step, and then make it satisfying, add immediate rewards to reinforce that behavior. And he also says that to break a bad habit, invert those laws of behavior change that he talks about. So make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying if you want to break a bad habit. And then he talks about, James Clear in his book Atomic Habits, that environment beats motivation every time, right? So willpower fades, but your environment silently shapes your behavior. So fruit on the counter instead of chips, like, right? Water on the counter, a lunchbox on the counter, workout clothes next to your bed. And then he also talks about habit stacking, so attaching new habits to existing ones. After I do what I do currently, I will now do the new habit. We talked about this as well. So, James Clear states that this leverages your brain's natural wiring for routines. And then one of the important things that he talks about that I really wanted to also mention is there's sort of a little bit of a plateau of latent potential, right? And we joke about this all the time. Like, I have now done 5 days of exercising in the morning, or I have now done 5 days of doing my skincare routine or 5 days of meditation, and I can't feel or see the difference yet. It's like when the ice cube warms from 26°F to 31°F, it's not melting yet, but yet it's warming. And then at 31, 32, 33, it goes from an ice cube to totally melted, right? When you start saving money, it seems like small amounts until they compound. When you start eating healthy or cutting out sugar or bringing your lunch, like, you don't see a difference yet. So there is this plateau of latent potential where you first have to put in the steady, invisible work before visible breakthroughs happen. And then the next thing he talks about is systems beat goals. So goals are about outcomes and systems are about processes. So don't obsess over like the finish line just yet. Build your daily systems that carry you there and then internalize the systems. So it's not just about the end game. It's about creating systems that can sustain you and produce that consistency over time. And the other thing he talks about is focus on trajectory, not perfection. So like I said earlier, missing once won't break the habit, but missing twice starts a new one, right? Where you skip out on your workouts, or where you skip out on your lunch prep, or you skip out on your meditation. So, the direction that you're heading matters more than the occasional slip. Again, focus on trajectory, not perfection. That's where the minimum baseline, I think, is such a beautiful, beautiful thing to consider. Tracking reinforces habits. So again, his number 9 from Atomic Habits is again talking about habit trackers, streak calendars, and visual cues. And what gets measured gets improved. So a lot of us really find a calendar full of blue dots super motivating, or make ourselves like the 4-day or 5-day like check boxes that we can check, or we color or shade in something. So again, tracking reinforces habits. It's well studies. And then last thing he talks about is success as a lifestyle. So habits aren't a short-term hack. They're the invisible architecture of your everyday life. And I feel like that way about routines. Your routines and where you put your energy and your focus and how you live your everyday life really shows who you are. So build habits, build routines that are aligned with the type of person you want to become. Again, the future you, living into the future. I'm the healthiest version of me. I am the happiest version of me. I'm the most grounded person of me. Whatever it is that you want to become, build routines and habits that are aligned with that type of person. And basically, sort of what James Clear says in Atomic Habits is that tiny habits stacked consistently shape your identity. And then whatever your identity is drives your choices, and your choices shape your life. Yeah. So that is my podcast on routines. Again, some really practical things on how to create the new routines you want, because most people, there are slight routines that they want to create, slight habits they either want to break, or, rather than like sort of breaking a habit, you could replace it with a better habit, or a habit that's more aligned with the type of person that you want to be. So ask me how my consistent food thing is going and my having healthy, nourishing food in my body is going. And I'm happy to support you with any new routine or habit that you want to do. And I really wish you all the success this sort of academic year. And always, I think, even if you don't have kids that go back to school, I think this would be a great time to start a new routine that really aligns with either the you that you want to be now or the future you that you want to become. Sending you all my love. Tell me what you're working on, and I will talk to you soon. Oh, before I go, we are partnering with Soleil Scrubs on an amazing giveaway for healthcare providers. So if you are a healthcare provider, we're going to put the link in the show notes, but Soleil Scrubs, with some of their partners, including Concierge Medical Arts, is doing this incredible giveaway where you can win travel, you can win a glow up, you can win scrubs. It's amazing grand prizes. So definitely check out Soleil Scrubs. Check out the Dr. Borger Instagram, and we will put the link to the giveaway in our show notes as well. So I really want to put a plug in for this. It's going on till the end of the month, August 2025. So if you're listening to that and you're a healthcare provider, again, we have partnered with Soleil Scrubs to be part of the sponsors of this giveaway. And there's some really great prizes to really show our appreciation for all of our fellow healthcare workers. Until next time, bye.
Thank you for listening to the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast with Dr. Judith Borger. We'd love to connect with you outside of the show. Follow Dr. Borger on Instagram at Dr. Borger, and find more online and ways to work with Dr. Borger at www.theaestheticdoctor.com. Until next time, be well.